Kale regained consciousness in the middle of the afternoon, the sun filtering down in golden shafts through the dark canopies of the twisted woods. His stomach growled loudly, waking him like an alarm, and he brought his hands to his mouth, feeling a throbbing pain. He touched his lips and found poultices of fresh herbs, no longer the crude bandages Leora had improvised, but ones applied with care, still damp and cool.
Leora.
He called out, his voice hoarse, jumping up in panic when he realized she was nowhere nearby, nor was Epona. He tried to stand, but a wave of dizziness knocked him back down, the world spinning like a broken carousel. Now what? He was alone, wounded, and weak. That's when he heard it, a rhythmic sound echoing through the trees. At first, he thought it might be Epona returning, but as he turned toward the sound, he realized how wrong he was. A tall, broad man emerged from the shadows, draped head to toe in a tiger pelt, the striped fur hanging like a living cloak. Kale couldn't see his face, only yellowish eyes peering from within the hood, glowing like embers in the dimness. The man began to speak, and his voice was as rough as an old cat trying to ward off an intruder.
"Congratulations, boy,"
he said slowly, each word weighted with ancient gravity.
"It's been generations since I've witnessed such a pure and genuine lament. And I have seen many generations."
Kale shuddered at the stranger's weird voice, alone, unarmed, and wounded in the middle of nowhere. He tried to get up again, but the man raised a steady hand.
"Do not rise, boy. I am not your enemy. It was I who tended to your wounds. I know who you are. I knew your mother, Lysara. I was on my way to Vent to get you both out. But seeing you here, well, I've seen millions of suns, and apparently, I'm still late."
He sighed, a sound like ancient wood bending under the weight of time.
"What's done cannot be undone, so I can only offer advice now. Rest a little longer. Your friend will return soon. I sent her to fetch supplies nearby. You must head west. There is nothing for you to the south. You must reach Zarenth. There, you will find trustworthy allies who will guide you where you need to go. Unfortunately, I cannot accompany you, but I know you will be safe."
As he spoke his final words, the man pointed to the sky behind Kale. The boy turned, heart pounding, and to his surprise he saw his mother's face taking shape among the clouds, her gentle features smiling, as if watching over him from beyond the world. He had so many questions. Who was that man? Why had he known Lysara? What were the laments? But his mouth throbbed with pain, and he couldn't tear his eyes away from the cloud, allowing himself a fleeting moment with her. The longing he felt since yesterday already seemed like a lifetime's worth, and he wondered if he would ever have such a chance again. When he turned back, the man had vanished, leaving only the sound of the wind whispering between the trees. Then, a white horse emerged, its hooves tapping lightly against the earth, and atop it Kale saw a pair of enormous, smiling blue eyes. "Leora!"
"Kale, I found food,"
she exclaimed, her face lit up as if the nightmare had been forgotten. She slid down from Epona, who courteously knelt, carrying a wicker basket full of bread, wild berries, and a water skin. Kale stared at her, almost upset at how lightly she seemed to take everything, but he was too dazed to say anything in time.
"I met a strange man, but he was really kind. He told me about a place nearby where I could find food, and he even gave me a coin to pay for it. Epona is so fast, isn't she? The good thing you brought her. My feet would be killing me if I had to walk. I didn't have time to get my shoes."
She paused for a moment, as if pushing away darker thoughts.
"But where did he go? He was right here when I left. Maybe he wasn't hungry?"
Kale's mind spun with too much information. The man, the vision of Lysara, the laments, he couldn't even react. He reached out, grabbed a piece of bread, and squeezed it until it was small enough to fit through the side of his mouth that he could still open. The pain was searing, a fire that shot up through his face, but the hunger was stronger, and he ate in silence, chewing slowly as the dried blood cracked against his lips. Leora was chattering, recounting her adventure to find food, asking countless questions about the strange man, throwing in comments about their crazy morning, and already making plans for how they would escape and find her sister.
Maybe she's in Zarenth too.
She said at last, catching her breath, her eyes sparkling with a hope Kale didn't share. After finishing eating, though the basket still held plenty, Kale tried to stand again. The mysterious man's salve seemed to have worked. His lips throbbed less, and his shoulder ached only as a distant pulse from the blow he had taken in the fight. He looked toward Epona, who was grazing calmly a few meters away, her ears tilted toward them as if she were listening. He stood, trembling, and helped Leora to her feet, steadying her by the arm.
We have to keep going,
he said, his voice hoarse, nearly swallowed by the sound of the wind through the trees. To the west, the stranger had said. The clearing was silent, but the air felt saturated, as if the laments still lingered there, waiting to be called again. A low hum Kale could feel in his bones. He knew that this power was his, a wild gift that terrified him more than any soldier ever could, but he also knew he could not yet control it. Leora, with her newly awakened gift, seemed just as lost despite her lively spirit, her eyes still carrying the weight of the scream that had saved them. Together, they mounted Epona, the mare now obeying Kale's commands without hesitation. They rode westward, into a future as uncertain as the mist beginning to form between the twisted trunks, swallowing them like a dark and silent promise.